This is part 2, episode 126. So you have finally grown up, haven't you? Shen Yu raised his hand, hitting Long Haochen on the head. The pained Long Haochen showed a grimace, not daring to make a sound. He didn't expect Shen Yu to be so careless, having been reduced to such a state by them so rapidly. Unfortunately, it was too late to think of avoiding earning this person's wrath. Shen Yu felt quite depressed, because he figured that he wasn't even able to vent out. After calming down for a little, he felt secretly apprehensive. Even if he had been careless, he was still a powerhouse of the 9th step. 100,000 units of spiritual energy was standing in front of them, and what was up with these guys' equipment? For a demon hunt squad who had just raised themselves to the commander grade to take out so many legendary tier equipment. Just from where could they have come? And in particular, Long Haochen's shield was letting out an orange glow. Epic tier? Shen Yu seemed to have underestimated the strength of Long Haochen's group. In fact, the last time they came, they could at most be regarded as a brilliant younger generation. But this time, they could already display comprehensive strength in front of this senior. This was simply a leap of strength. You're at the 7th step. Shen Yu's wrath gradually vanished. Unconsciously, he asked Long Haochen this question. He still clearly remembered that at the time Long Haochen unleashed that sword energy, he was on the boundary of brilliant body. Long Haochen nodded in response, yes, great-grandfather. Shen Yu had a great startle. Making a guess was one thing, but getting a confirmation of the fact was another. Just how old was he? Absolutely below 20. Wasn't he just 14 or 15 the last time they met? Just how many years has it been since then? And already at the 7th step. Then it was no wonder that the Demon God Emperor would want to capture this guy. 7th step, is he at this stage for real? At what age did I reach that level back then? Wasn't it at 35? Sweeping his look on the whole group once again, the look on Shen Yu's face finally appeased. Of course, his cold demeanor sounded laughable when coming from such a sorry-looking shape. Of course, Long Haochen's group absolutely didn't dare laugh out loudly. Right at this time, severe knock sounded out from the outside. The situation is all right here. I am the one who brought an imitator to mimic the dragon aura of a devil dragon. Shen Yu shouted out. He could obviously not let himself be seen by his subordinates to avoid losing all face. Hearing him, everyone outside immediately calmed down. Shen Yu stared fixedly at Long Haochen for quite a long time, nodding, not bad. These past few years, you seem to have matured quite a lot, and your strength grew quite a bit. You have finally made it back. The 4th Hidden Knight should have already told you. The Holy War has started. Long Haochen nodded, great-grandfather, the blame is on me. I am willing to accept whatever punishment is dealt by the Alliance. Long Haochen replied, great-grandfather, I am certainly the cause why the Demon God Emperor started this holy war. About this, even my comrades don't know, but as the person involved, I am very clear of the cause why the holy war started. I feel very sad about it. I really don't want to see the people being put in terrible situation. But this matter is related to my closest comrade. There's no way I could hand him over, so I ask the Alliance to take the final decision. No matter how the Alliance decides to handle me, I will accept the treatment. Hearing such serious words, not only Shen Yu had an unsightly expression, but the same went for his comrades, with the only exception being the dazed Kia. The others were all opening their eyes wide in shock. They were also full of questions about the motives of the Demon God Emperor. Hearing Haochen's words, that this holy war was indeed related to him, boy, don't worry. Your great-grandfather is listening to you. You know, no matter what happens, your great-grandfather will be standing on your side. No one can punish my great-grandson. And you have to remember, don't ever tell someone else about what you told me. Even inside the Alliance, not everyone thinks the same as me. Now tell me what you have in heart. As long as I can be of help, I will give my all to help you. Yes. Seeing Shen Yu's concerned look, Long Haochen nodded with all his force. He almost had an urge to cry. Shen Yu was Kia's great-grandfather, but this time, he felt a strong warmth feeling emanating from this irascible old man. And family love had always been Long Haochen's weak spot. Great-grandfather, at the time we left the Alliance, we took a total of 16 slaughter missions. Less than half a year later, we have succeeded in completing all of them. Among these missions, the hardest one was to kill the last rank demon god Andromalius. Shen Yu was once again in great shock. What? Are you saying that you killed a demon god? Devil Snake demon god Andromalius? Long Houchen continued, after killing the snake devil demon god Andromalius, we faced his demon god pillar, trying our utmost to destroy it. Its toughness was really beyond our imagination. Shen Yu smiled, that's for certain. You don't have to feel discouraged about that. In the past, many titled Great Demon Hunt Squad attempted to destroy a demon god pillar without success. It has been 6,000 years, and the matter of the 72 demon gods leaves us the most helpless. This is the core strength of the demons. As long as these annoying pillars exist, the demons will never truly die. You don't have to be so sad. In the future, when you are strong enough, we will think of some way. Unfortunately, the only person with possibility to destroy a demon god pillar, Scion of Samsara, died too young back then. Otherwise, maybe he could have caused a miracle. Long Houchen gave a serious response, but we succeeded. Succeeded about what? What? Succeeded you saying? Shen Yu jumped in surprise. With his thin build, this jump simply seemed like an ape's. Long Houchen continued, we succeeded in destroying that demon god pillar, to destroy it thoroughly. In this world, there won't ever appear another devil snake demon god. And it's even hard to say for sure that the snake devil lineage will be able to survive. Shen Yu had his eyes wide open, staying still for over 10 seconds in his posture. Are you saying this for real? You actually destroyed a demon god pillar? No, it can't be. This hasn't ever happened before. Even if you are extremely talented, especially gifted, with your current cultivation, how could you possibly destroy a demon god pillar? This absolutely cannot be. Seeing Shen Yu's abnormal look, Long Houchen revealed a pained face, but great-grandfather, we just did it. And this is the reason why the demon god emperor made capturing me the reason for this holy war. Shen Yu's irregular breathing lasted for several minutes before calming down. Are you saying that you have an extraordinary ability enabling you to destroy demon god pillars? Long Houchen nodded, it can be said so. But it's not me, it's my magical beast companion, Haoyue. I believe my comrades should have realized that Haoyue is an abnormal magical beast. Until now, no one has been able to tell to what race he belongs to. But he has an extraordinary ability that doesn't seem to be of much utility against us humans. But it is very destructive against demons, especially demon god pillars. Haoyue consumed his life force as a cost to help us destroy that demon god pillar. If I am not guessing wrong, it's precisely because the demon god emperor guessed the threat Haoyue represented to the demon race that he demands me from the alliance. Haoyue and I are bound by blood. As long as I die, Haoyue would hardly survive alone. In the 64th Demon Hunt Squad, it was impossible to say that no one had noticed this detail. Merely, everyone was feeling very confused, and approved his explanations after realizing this bit. For a moment, the atmosphere became extremely serious. Currently, Long Houchen and Haoyue's emotions were as stirred as one might imagine. Shen Yu went in a deep state of reflection. From the point of view of the alliance, handing over Long Houchen would undoubtedly give them the opportunity to keep recuperating. But afterwards, would they get another opportunity to acquire the strength to destroy demon god pillars? This was hard to say. And to protect Long Houchen, the alliance would have to incur the rage of demonkind. After all, for the prosperity of their race, any ruler of the demons in these circumstances would spare no cost to kill Long Houchen and Haoyue. A long time later, Shen Yu had a difficult tone. Boy, you shouldn't let this out. This will very possibly make the situation unfavorable to you. Understood? Long Houchen retained a calm smile. Great-grandfather, there's nothing unfair. I cannot go against my conscience. As I said, I have no way to hand over Haoyue. He's my good brother. All I can do is speak the truth and leave it to the alliance to decide. No matter what decision they come to make, I have no complaints. Great-grandfather, please lend me a room. Before the alliance comes to a decision, I will be staying in the Assassin Temple. Shen Yu shut his eyes, waging war against himself deep inside. Having a good resistance to greed, what he hated the most in his lifetime was to encounter things going beyond his grasp. Without doubt, Long Houchen brought such a situation before him. He was unable to anticipate how reporting this would result the alliance's decision. When it pertained to the life of the millions of inhabitants of the alliance, no one would be able to predict what the final verdict would be. Great-grandfather, Kia's voice suddenly sounded out, taking the shape of a dreamlike ringing shout. Long Houchen had a chill, looking beyond belief at Kia's direction. Kia's look was just as lifeless, taking one step after another toward Shen Yu. Opening his eyes, Shen Yu directed an astonished look at Kia. That was his great-granddaughter, that he was naturally the most familiar with. Kia's call seemed strange, greatly different from before. I just remembered. You're my great-grandfather. Great-grandfather, father, mother. What about my father and mother? Why didn't they come to save me? Why? Kia, what's up with you? Xingyu looked shocked, seeing Kia in such a state. Long Haochen hurriedly stepped forward, joining Kia's side. Kia, did you just remember? Remember everything? Why didn't you come to save me? Why? Not paying Long Haochen the slightest bit of attention, she only repeated these words. She continued to have a lifeless look, but tears kept flowing beyond control on her face. This sight was truly painful to see. Hearing Long Haochen's explanation, Xingyu remained speechless for a while. He knew that this could absolutely not be blamed on Long Haochen. Who could predict Kia's sudden awakening? Long Haochen already did his best. Although he didn't tell the details, one can imagine that when surrounded by so many demon hunter remover squads, managing to break out was already a great feat. Go. First return home for now. The home Xingyu mentioned was inside the Exorcist Mountain Pass office palace. Xingyu's home was located there instead of being in the Assassin Temple. As the chief of the Exorcist Mountain Pass military, his home was in a courtyard at the back of the office palace. Xingyu didn't put only restriction on the liberty of Long Haochen's group, only letting them stay here. Then he told Long Haochen that the matter would be reported to the higher-ups, so for now he had to wait for any information from the Temple Alliance. At the time Xingyu said that to Long Haochen, he already thought through that matter thoroughly. This was the Exorcist Mountain Pass, and his territory. If the Alliance decided to hand him over, couldn't he just let this boy go? Everyone had their own personal reasons when they acted, and he was no exception. At the time he caught sight of Kia after her loss of memories, Xingyu's frame of mind changed completely. For the first time, he recognized his own mistake. For the sake of the Alliance and the Assassin Temple, Kia was subject to unbearable pain, to the extent that this memory would be the first to come back. A pain etched in her bones. If he didn't let her take the inheritance of the dagger of Samsara, would Kia have to experience such pain? And this time, will Long Haochen be sacrificed for the Alliance? Xingyu couldn't do that. He already made the thorough resolve that no matter what, he will protect Long Haochen and Kia. The whole 64th Commander Grey Demon Hunt Squad lived there just like that. Although the Holy War's large shadow was enveloping the Exorcist Mountain Pass, Kia's home was extremely peaceful. That day after Kia's sudden emotional breakout, she finally ended up getting knocked out by Long Haochen. After waking up, her mood gradually pacified. After a few days of rest, everyone was gradually making sure that some of Kia's memories were back, but these were only a few memories, when she was 3 or 4 years old. It was evidently from the stimulation of the Exorcist Mountain Pass, and the deep impression left by her great-grandfather Xingyu, that finally stimulate a few memories in her. Although this was only a small part, it was undoubtedly good news. Unfortunately, soon after seeing their daughter, Sheng Lingxin and his wife had to return to the Exorcist Mountain Pass. With the start of the Holy War, although they were feeling extremely sorry for their daughter, their heavy responsibilities weren't something that could be ignored. Haochen, are you there? Kia stood in front of the neighboring room, softly knocking onto the door. Right now, her memories just returned, her emotions were indeed greatly affected. But over the past few days, under the assurances of Long Haochen and the others, and with the care shown by her parents and great-grandfather, she gradually calmed down. After all, her memories weren't all back, and what already passed was unchangeable, and she overcame it little by little. Over the past 2 days, her mental state was close to complete recovery. In the room, Long Haochen's familiar voice wasn't responding. A while after she knocked, she went in to confirm that no one was indeed present, finding it quite strange. Ordinarily, Long Haochen would be cultivating in his room. After she calmed down, she thought a lot about the recent matters. Although Long Haochen was temporarily living here, be it him or the rest of the team, everyone was filled with uncertainty. Ever since losing her memories, the one who had been spending the most time with her was Long Haochen, who could be said to have meticulously taken care of her. Although she was still unable to remember the things that happened between the two of them, she was a girl, and had her own emotions. As time passed, even in that amnesic state, she gradually came to accept Long Haochen. At least now she wouldn't be blushing so clearly when Long Haochen took her hand and struggled against it. All this time, he was the one who made sacrifices for her. Now that such a major event happened, she should be the one to comfort him. Now that she had realized this, Kia took the initiative to look for Long Haochen in his room, only to find out that he wasn't present. Could the Temple Alliance have given their decision on that matter? Thinking this, Kia felt very tense, attacked by an indescribable pain, feeling that her breath was unsteady. But how could he not tell me anything? No, he wouldn't leave like that. Simply said, she was blinded with concern. Kia didn't even notice, but unknowingly, Long Houchen already held an important position to the amnesic her. Kia, what are you doing? Right at this time, this question was raised to her. Turning her head, Kia saw Chen Yinga come out from the nearby room, curious about her. As if she found her savior, Kia joined Chen Yinga's side. Yinga, do you know about Houchen? Did you see him? Why isn't he in his room? Chen Yinga replied, still puzzled, of course he's not in his room right now. He's preparing a meal for you. Didn't you know that ever since we came back, everything you eat is prepared personally by boss hands? Her whole body shivering with a feeling that would be hard to describe, she just realized that all the pores of her body felt relaxed. All her previous worries dissipated, to be replaced with concern and warmth. The rim of her eyes suddenly became red. So he's actually preparing my meals? At a time that he could be abandoned by the Alliance at any time, thinking of it, I should be the one preparing his meals, not the other way round. Seeing her expression, Chen Yinga, who got the confirmation that she actually didn't know, didn't conceal her jealousy. Kia, you're such a lucky girl. Did you know? The day after you regained some of your memories, boss said that your mind was unstable, and that he had to make good food for you to eat, so that you can feel better. Then he said at this point, Chen Yinga suddenly stopped. Kia's sluggish look suddenly became shiny. What else did he say? Chen Yinga's eyes reddened slightly. He said that in the future, maybe there won't be another chance like this. He wanted to treasure his time with you, since that's all he can do for you. With a flash, Kia abruptly disappeared from Chen Yinga's view. Looking at the shadow remnants from where she disappeared, Chen Yinga let out a sigh, talking aloud, Kia, you're really enjoying a good fortune. If one day, that guy treats me like boss treats you, I'd even accept death. There were several kitchens in the Exorcist Mountain Pass office palace. In a little one, Long Houchen was at work. This kitchen was small, and under Long Houchen's request, it was reserved for his use in the past few days. Currently, he was adding firewood to the stove while paying attention to the state of the cauldron. A strong sweet smell already filled the air, accompanied with a noticeable smell. In the pot were 3 flying dragons, which were of course not real dragons, but a very nutritious kind of bird not even categorized as magical beast. The day just started, as Long Houchen ran around to get the 3 flying dragons handled, preparing them as a soup. Occasionally adding heat and sniffing at the scent of the soup, he took care of the other meals after making sure that there's no issue. As a poor child in charge of the family, Long Houchen started to learn cooking alongside his mother at 6 years of age. Although his talent in the field was not particularly praiseworthy, at least the taste wasn't too lacking. He was also the one stewing the soup made up from wild herbs for his mother back then. His current living conditions were obviously beyond compare with the past. Long Houchen wanted to do some of the things he yearned to do before the Alliance reached its decision. At this time, contrary to the expectations, his thoughts were not really oriented so much towards his parents. That's because he didn't want to inconvenience them with his own matters. Having not met them for so many years, he could only pray for them in silence. For the time being, cultivation was naturally not what he yearned the most for. If the Alliance decided to hand him to the demon god emperor, then what use would there be to cultivate some more? He couldn't possibly gain the strength to overtake him in such a short span of time. So all he wanted was to do something for Kia. As his age grew, Long Houchen understood that he would soon be 18. What he felt for Kia wasn't simply a little liking, but the love that only exists between 2 people of opposite gender. That's because, every time he thought of Kia, no matter what she wanted, granting that would be his greatest joy. Kia's memory loss was the most painful experience he ever had. The future was uncertain, and he didn't want to think about it, only hoping to be able to stay together with her a little longer. Every day, being able to look at her and do something for her was enough. Kia silently stood behind the door of the kitchen. Approaching discreetly, she looked at the busy Long Houchen. Clad in a clean white apron, he was at work in the kitchen. Currently, he looked like a young cook, with none of his grandeur as a demon hunt squad captain. Unconsciously, Kia's sight went fuzzy. Feeling as if her heart was pierced ruthlessly, she felt her throat choking, unable to say a single word. As he was in the midst of preparing a meal, Long Houchen's face moved suddenly, and his right hand was raised, releasing a flash of golden light that opened the door, coming face to face with Kia, whose eyes were hazy with tears. Kia? Long Houchen was surprised to see her here. Houchen. Kia suddenly threw herself at him, crying out loudly in his bosom. Unable to make head or tail for the reason why she was crying, Long Houchen however dropped the vegetables and dewdrops in his hands. Her clothes were dirty, and he could only push her away feeble-mindedly with his hand. "Idiot, what's up with you?" Long Houchen asked in a supple voice. Hearing him call her a fool, she couldn't help but be filled with warmth. In the past, Kia liked calling him that way. He was her personal idiot. Kia didn't reply to that. Since she jumped at him crying, Long Houchen could only helplessly put the vegetable knife down, both his hands placed behind her, to take her in his arms. Kia's body was just as soft as before. It was only that as her age grew, her build became even more slender than before. Embracing such a soft girl, Long Houchen could only feel peace. But this feeling was not totally the same as before. Although he was finally able to hug her again, he knew that the current Kia was not completely healed. Currently, she was only emotionally moved, and not in deep love like in the past. But this was still good, ain't it, Houchen? In this world, no one is as good to me as you. Kia lifted her head, telling Long Houchen these words. Long Houchen chuckled at these words. "That's for sure. If I'm not good to you, to who would I be good? As long as you can get better, I'm perfectly satisfied with that. Don't force yourself to remember the matters of the past. Honestly speaking, I was really frightened at that time. Now, I'm actually not so willing to see you recover your memories. That's because if they are recovered, you will undoubtedly come to be reminded about that painful time." Kia lightly shook her head. "No, I will definitely remember everything. That's because you exist in my memories. I really want to remember about the emotions I had in the past by your side. Maybe it's exactly because of these painful images that I want to understand the feelings you have towards me." The others from the 64th Commander Grey Demon Hunt Squad very rapidly felt the recent changes in Kia. She became attached to Long Houchen, and except for their time of sleep, the two of them seemed to be stuck together all day. Long Houchen made her meals, and she accompanied him to wash the plates afterwards. No one disturbed them, even the loud sounds coming from the war outside seemed to be filtered out to their ears. These days were only theirs. Unfortunately, the fateful day came very fast, and interrupted them. Right at the 11th day after the arrival of Long Houchen's group in Exorcist Mountain Pass, Xing Yu once again appeared in front of them. "Houchen, I have good news." The Alliance decided to face the attack and meet it, preparing to clash with full force against the demon armies in this holy war. While telling them all this, Xing Yu's eyes were filled with murderous spirit. Long Houchen looked at Xing Yu in amazement. "Great-grandfather, then what about me?" Xing Yu had a slight smile on his face. "Let alone you, even I didn't expect that. Everyone actually showed unanimous support, and no one argued this verdict. You have formally become the future successor of the Night Temple, and the Alliance will not spare any cost to protect you. Everyone was thinking the same. That your existence will be a terrible threat to the demons. When your strength grows enough, they will encounter their doom. As for our holy war, its role will be to stall to see that day. Don't worry, everything is heading towards the greatest possible direction, and you don't need to worry about the battles." Although the demons took the initiative to begin this holy war, their decision was very sudden, and are far from being prepared sufficiently. The horn of counterattack is waiting to be blown. The Temple Alliance has been preparing for just too long. The Demon God Emperor is indeed powerful, but attacking our alliance won't be an easy thing for him. The winner cannot be predicted. Hearing Xing Yu's words, the members of the 64th Commander Grey Demon Hunt Squad relaxed greatly. Although Long Houchen didn't worry, how could his comrades not be worried for him? The decision of the Alliance was undoubtedly extremely inspiring. Now they had to put all their force in helping the Alliance to resist. Long Houchen unconsciously clenched both his hands. "Great-grandfather, in this case, I am willing to give my life to the Alliance. Let my comrades and me return to demon territory to bite back at them. Their rear is surely empty. They will surely have demon gods guarding it. If we can get rid of a few of them, it will certainly be a good hindrance to their holy war." Xing Yu immediately refused his suggestion. "This won't do. You are now the target of protection of the Alliance. How could we let you risk your life in demon territory? There will naturally be others to handle the enemies at the rear. It's not something you have to worry about. After coming to this decision, the Alliance has issued a compulsory mission to your team. You will have to go complete this, and after that, you will officially be recognized as a King Grey Demon Hunt Squad." "What mission is it?" Long Houchen asked, greatly surprised. Xing Yu had a sly smile. "This mission can't be described as a hard one, but can't be called an easy one either. All of you are elites of the great temples. Because of your relationship with Houchen, you also gained the approval of the Alliance. So the Alliance decided that during the following period of time, you will be pursuing your training to become the new generation to succeed to the Alliance. So you have to return to the headquarters of your respective temples, obeying the assignments from your respective temples, to be nurtured and trained. Until you all became qualified to graduate. What? Everyone cried out in surprise together. This compulsory mission was naturally a good thing for their individual growth, but this also meant that their team would have to be temporarily disbanded. Won't do, we don't want to separate. Lin Xin reacted eagerly. Xing Yu became stern. Is that something you can afford? You're a part of the Alliance, and as demon hunters, obeying commands from above is your duty. That's the common consensus the Alliance came to. Gain the backing of every temple, including mine. Over these years, you have already contributed greatly to the Alliance, but your strength is far from enough. Now that you are the direct target of the demons, letting you carry out missions would only end in disaster. So now, what you need the most is a stable environment. Most of all, Long Houchen cannot advance prematurely, and absolutely cannot go take missions. Long Houchen pondered for a short time before hinting his comrades to calm down, and asked Xing Yu, great-grandfather, then when is it that we will be able to reunite as a team? Xing Yu said with a laugh. This won't be hard. First, they will have to all reach at least the 7th step individually, and as their captain, you will have to reach 8th step. And you will have to pass all the tests imposed by the various temples. At the time the Alliance needs you, you can reform as a team. Oh right, you will have to gain various accomplishments in your own temples as well. For instance, Houchen will need to be a Gold Essence Foundation Knight. So that's to say that you will have to prove yourselves to the Alliance. When you acquire the ability to protect yourselves, the Alliance will let you reform your team, continuing to carry out missions. Hearing Xing Yu's explanation, everyone became calm. They all understood that the Alliance was doing this for their own sake. The first objective was to avoid taking risks, letting them cultivate their talents. This was not only because of their individual importance, but more importantly because of the importance of Long Houchen and Haoyue's ability to destroy demon god pillars. One could say that since the Alliance took the decision to protect them, they will strive their hardest to achieve that. Stepping once again into the battlefield won't be easy for them. Xing Yu continued, you have to maintain the utmost secrecy about your return here. All those aware of your return will keep silent for you. But because of your intervention in the demon-resisting mountain pass, it's hard to say whether the demons will get the news of your arrival here. So you have to set out as fast as possible, and return to your own temples to pursue your training as fast as possible. Children, the Alliance is counting on your future. We know that after having been completing missions together for so long, you all have deep attachment to each other, and aren't willing to separate. But your lives are not only your own matters anymore, it relates to the future of the Alliance. So no matter what, you can't look down on the importance of this mission. To reunite as early as possible, you will all have to spend 200% efforts in boosting your strength. Just imagine anyway, if one day you can have a strength comparable to the demon god slayers, who would possibly be able to restrict you. After Xing Yu's patient talk, Long Houchen nodded in silence, great-grandfather, thank you. We have also to thank the Alliance for protecting me. Be at ease, I will strive my hardest to improve. It's just that, Kia, reaching this point, Long Houchen's face immediately looked pale. Turning around and noticing that Kia also became pale, they went silent for a moment. Xing Yu sighed, Kia has a lot to study, but will also need a long time of rest after experiencing this loss of memories. Since she recovered some memories after getting back here, staying in the Exorcist Mountain Pass is the best choice for her. Be at ease, I will have a good talk with her parents, hoping that they can help her the best they can. And given your talents, I believe that it will only take you a few years to accomplish the tasks bestowed by the Alliance. What's more, the Assassin Temple and the Knight Temple aren't that far. After you have some accomplishments in your training back there, won't you have the opportunity to see this girl? Be at ease. Even if the Alliance doesn't agree to lighten your tasks, when you pass 20 years of age, I will definitely personally send Kia to your side, for the arrangement of your wedding ceremony. Hearing these words, Long Houchen and Kia, who originally looked pale, immediately blushed, looking at each other. Kia seemed shy and happy, and Long Houchen had faint concern coupled with his joy. No matter what, he hoped for Kia to recuperate her memories. Otherwise, he would forever feel short of something. The biggest issue was to have to separate from Kia. 20 years old, this was a matter of having to wait at least 2 more years. When Kia is 20, at least 3 years will have passed. Long Houchen was extremely unwilling to separate for so long. Xing Yu patted Long Houchen's shoulder. Boy, you have to understand that this is already the best result for you. The Alliance could only do this much. You will have to immediately leave, not waiting any longer. I will assign your protection to experts from the Assassin Temple. As future newlyweds, this separation can only make your reunion all the better. Be at ease, I will take good care of Kia. Long Houchen kneeled down in front of Xing Yu. Great-grandfather, I'm the one at fault. It's because I didn't take good care of her that she ended up losing her memories. Since I'll have to part with her, I just have a small request. Just let me make a meal for my comrades and her before we separate, can I? Long Houchen. Having said that, everyone's eyes became red. Kia was the first to throw herself in Long Houchen's arms. Houchen, Captain, Boss. Xing Yu raised his head, looking above to try to stop tears from falling from his eyes. Okay, I'm giving you a half a day's more time. Tonight, you will have to leave. I will be arranging my men. After this, his figure flashed and disappeared out of sight. To be separated against one's will was a very painful thing. Long Houchen's group was faced with such a situation. Ever since they formed as the first Soldier Grey Demon Hunt Squad, they experienced too many things together. Everyone was together in situations of life or death, fighting against demons together. Their emotions and relationship with each other was already not as simple as comrades or friends. They were comrades able to entrust their backs to each other. Good brothers and sisters, and fellow soldiers that had the resolution to sacrifice their own lives for each other. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.